Hello and welcome to the next episode of the Shameless Freedom Podcast. And today I want to talk about the topic of being too much. And I want to share a personal story that is really powerful in regards to this topic. And this was a while ago in my journey where I experienced this moment where I went to a dance healing experience. And one of the things I think is absolutely beautiful is that it's so easy to move through emotions with movement and with dance. So I love to experience dance for healing. I love to experience dance for pleasure, right? And there's a time and a space for both of them. And there was a day where I went to this dance healing experience, and they asked us to break ourselves up into groups. And what I mean by that is we were going to witness each other in this experience. And there was gonna be a song that was gonna come on, and it was going to be like 6 minutes where we were dancing with a part of ourselves. And it was this connection with, this knowing that allowing ourselves to connect with maybe a piece of ourselves that we don't always connect with, or we shame or we push to the side. And so, anyway, we were asked if we were going to be like intense, like middle of the ground, or like low intensity in our dance movement practice. And because I've done this work, I've done deep movement work, I was in the intense category. So we end up being partnered with someone in that was equal to what we were doing. And the music came on. I went first and allowed myself to just fully be present in my body. Now, what I find that is so powerful is that in 6 minutes, my world changed. This was not an hour. This was not an hour of talk therapy and all sorts of stuff. It was 6 minutes. I allowed myself to close my eyes and to be present in the moment with the music, with my body, with myself, my soul, my part. And I could feel this energy like fighting within me. It was this very intense feeling that like there were parts of my body that were shaking, and my body was moving in ways that I don't want to say are not normal, but they were large movements. I could feel my leg shaking. I could almost feel like I was, I'm just going to say, fighting a monster inside of me. Like, just imagine like a scary movie of some sort where it's like you're trying to get something like out of the body, whereas there's another part of you that's trying to like make it stay in. So if you could just imagine this experience of me wanting to express and have something come out, but yet there was a part of it that was like fighting itself. And I could feel like the intensity of even my body. You can't see it right now or feel it, but it was like just this intensity, and I could feel my hands even going like this, and it was like trying to push out and push in at the same time. And it was wild, and I was in the moment, and the person who was witnessing me, who was holding space for me, started weeping. And I could hear this person crying. And I paused for a moment and just went back into where I was. I was like, okay, if she's crying, there's nothing I can do about it right now. I'm in the moment. I have to deal with what's going on with me right now. And kept doing that. And she kept getting even more in depth and moved by my experience. And I continued. And then I peeked and opened my eyes, and then one of the facilitators came over, held space for her and for me to finish and process what I was moving through, was able to move through the experience and complete. And after the experience was over, I remember talking with the person who was holding space for me and the facilitator. And the person who was holding space for me felt bad that she was crying and was not able to hold the space for me like she wanted to. Like, clearly, there was something in my energy that was triggering and activating her. And at the same time, the facilitator came over and said, I want to make sure you're okay and that you didn't feel like you were like too much. Like, are you okay? Is there something wrong? Can I support you? And I said, well, I said, to be honest, I do this work and teach people how to do it. So I was able to hold myself in that space when she was not able to hold the space. And it's interesting because the words that she said were, I wanted to make sure you didn't feel like you were too much. And it's interesting because I wasn't thinking that in my head. I wasn't thinking, oh my God, I was too much. And when I journaled about this experience, what came to me was there are a lot of times that I have not been as bold and intense as I know I can be, or that is part of the depth of who I am. Because I have been told I'm too much. I've been told I talk too much about sex. I have been told I am too bold. All of the too muches. You ask for too much, you're too, all of that shit, right? And here's the truth. What I loved about this experience is that I wasn't thinking that. I didn't stop and go, okay, I'm gonna step back. I'm not gonna do this because I don't want to hurt her. Because what I realized in this whole experience was that me being the intense woman that I was triggered the person who was witnessing me. But that trigger was a gift. It was not to hurt the person. And when we spoke about this experience, what was reflected back to me from the witnesser was they needed to see and hear and experience the moments that they saw from me. They needed that intensity. They needed that experience to pull something out of them that had been so buried and unavailable to touch. And if you just dabble on the surface, you can't always get to the depth. And this person was so grateful. There was a part of her that felt bad. And at the same time, there was a part of her that was grateful, right? She was dealing with both parts, right? This is how it works. You experience, you notice, and you feel, and then you choose how you're going to move through it. And the beauty of this experience was, to me, stop worrying. about my power and about fully stepping into this greatness. Because here's the truth. When you show up fully, authentically as you are, whether you are intense or however you show up, bold, courageous, brave, you name it, that is a gift to other people. Others need that presence. They need your gift. And if you trigger them, how beautiful is that? You were able, by being you, to inspire someone to look at something differently, to look at something from a different perspective, to be curious in a way that maybe they were not curious before, is true power. That is true authenticity. This is where the growth happens. Not when you are performing, not when you are trying to do something. You see, here's the thing. So many people are trying to help coach and fix others. And I see this all the time in this coaching field and arena where people have egos and they want to know that they are the healer. They are the ones the healing is coming through them. It's like this taking credit for the healing and let me do this. And what I thought was so beautiful about this crazy experience, dance expression was it wasn't planned. I wasn't trying to heal anybody. I wasn't trying to make anybody remember. I was living my life and I was being me. I was fully authentic in fullest expression. And pieces of my expression that I don't want to say I wasn't the most proud of, but it wasn't like a sensual, sexy kind of dance expression. This was a raw, vulnerable, I don't know what the hell is moving through me kind of authenticity. That is what truly helps transform people in this world. Not trying to coach them, not trying to teach them, not trying to figure out the right words to say. It is about showing up fully, authentically you in all of your expressions, no matter what they are. And they are never too much. Never. Don't ever let anybody tell you that your expression is too much because it's not. That is your gift. That is where you bring the most vibrance and the most radiance and light into the world as being that fullest expression of you. Not trying to teach, just showing up and being and having other people inspired to take action because of your inspiration, whether they were inspired by something you said or they were triggered by something you said or did. And it allowed them to be curious about themselves rather than judge themselves, but to ask that question and be curious. What is here for me? Is there something here that will allow me to dive deeper into the depths of my own becoming? And what a gift that is when you can fully Own it. Step into it. Celebrate it and not judge it. That is what we're all made here on this earth for. To be the presence, to show up, to live our lives in abundance, in fullest expression, in model permission for other people to do the same thing. You will see how the world around you will shift and grow. And you will remember you were never too much, and you truly are a gift.